Okay, so we talked about improving the game such that when any of the invader sprites get to the edges, they move as a group. They will drop down as a group and change directions. So in an earlier video, I said we were going to fix that problem where they wrap around the edges correctly. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. We need to take a look at one of the invader sprites. Let's pick this guy at the top. He would be invader number 7 from group number 1. So 1-7 is this guy, and we're going to change his behavior a little bit. All right, we're going to say when you, number 7, get to the right edge, I need you to more or less say something. All right, so in other words, broadcast the message. So where would I find broadcast? Broadcast is under events, and I will pull out broadcast. All right, so the message I want this invader to broadcast would be broadcast new message. Let's call that message right edge. Okay, so when I get to the right edge, I want to broadcast right edge. So where would I broadcast this message? So when I look at my code, when I get to an X position that's bigger than 230, this means I've got to the right edge of the screen. So I will take my change Y and set direction out, and I would snap my broadcast in. And I will do the same for the left edge of the screen. So when this guy gets to the left edge of the screen, I need him to broadcast the message as well. So I'll drag another broadcast out, and I'll change the drop down to new message because it's not created yet. I'll call that left edge. So once I get to the left edge of the screen, I need to change my Y, and I need to change my direction. So I'll drop broadcast in there. All right. So since I took out the functionality, what do I do with these 2 blocks of code that I took out? If you notice, I didn't delete them. So this invader is not the only invader that will be doing some talking or broadcasting. What if another invader gets to the other side of the screen before this guy? Well, it's not likely because he's the rightmost character. But what if he's destroyed? All right, there's another invader that's possibly going to get to the right edge of the screen before him. So we therefore need him to listen as well as speak. So broadcasting is like it's like speaking, and receiving is like listening. All right, so we need to have a listener. So when I receive right edge, what do I need to do? Well, I need to drop down and change my direction to face left. So I would snap that in here. So anytime right edge is broadcast by any invader, this is the behavior I will take. And I'll do the same for the left edge. When I receive left edge, this is the behavior I will have. I will drop down and change my direction. So I'm listening for these 2 messages, and if I'm the one that gets there first, then I broadcast the message. Not only am I broadcasting, once I broadcast the message, I hear my own message. All right, so when I broadcast right edge, I'm listening for right edge, and this is the behavior I will take. So I am taking an action based on my own message. So we don't need to have a separate change Y and set direction in these if conditions. Now you need to go ahead and make these changes for all your remaining invaders. Okay, this video we are going to create the player lives sprite, where the number of lives the player has remaining will show up as 3 separate icons to the right of the word lives. Now to begin, we will go ahead and duplicate the cannon sprite. So right click, choose duplicate, and we will move this into place like so. All right. Now, when we click on the scripts of this object, or before we even do that, let's rename this object. You would choose info. Let's rename it player lives. Hit the back button, and its name is changed to player lives. Alright, so in player lives we want to make sure it doesn't behave like the cannon, because if we had hit the arrow keys, this guy will start moving as well. So we want to go ahead and remove all of this logic. Good. Now we go back to the costumes and we need to change the name for this costume. So I'm going to change the name from ship to one life. Okay, so I will duplicate this one life costume and I will change it to, you guessed it, 2 lives. So how do I show 2 lives on the screen? Well, it's going to be 2 of the cannon objects. Now to create a duplicate of what's there, I will choose my clone tool. It says select and duplicate. And if I'm doing this, you'll notice I can't use the tool because it's in bitmap mode. So you need to change to vector mode, convert to vector. Now I'll be able to duplicate. Move it off to the right a little bit. And there I have 2 lives. Now it's kind of crooked, they're not lined up. So I will just tap my up arrow key to make sure it's all lined up and looking the way I want it to look. Good. Now we move on and we duplicate one more time. And we choose to name this costume 3 lives. Same steps as before. I would use the clone tool, put it a little bit to the right. I look at it, it's not lined up the way I would like to. I would just tap my arrow keys until I'm happy. Just nudge it into place. Alright, so now that's my 1 life, my 2 lives, and my 3 lives. Now this video is going to be 2-part because I don't have enough space to talk about everything we need to do in one video, possibly 3 parts. But the first part is done where we have these 3 objects showing up to represent the number of lives the player has remaining. Now the next thing I need to do is to give it some logic so it reacts to a certain message. Alright, so when do I want 3 lives to show up? Well, I want 3 lives to show up when the game begins. So when the flag is pressed. So which one of my sprites do I have when the flag clicked? Well, I could have them in my invader sprites where it says when flag is clicked, do something. Now this is a poor way to program this. I understand we're going to make some changes to this later on, but for now, to make it work, we're going to add some information to this invader sprite. Then the information I want is I want to set the number of lives to 3. Well, lives is a variable I went ahead and I created. Alright, so you will go ahead and click make a variable and you will type the word lives and you will have lives showing up as an option. Now when the flag is clicked, I want to set the number of lives, so you pull a set lives, or if lives is not chosen, you choose a drop down and choose lives to 3. That's just a numerical value and we snap it in place. So when the lives is 3, then I want 3 of these guys to show. Alright, so I would say, go back to my my lives, my player lives script, right? And I will pull an event out when flag is clicked. If lives is 3, display 3 lives. If lives is 2, display 2 lives. If lives is 1, display 1 life. And if lives is 0, game over. Alright, so we will show how to do those steps in the next video.